Luckily, good afternoon, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to finally hope to use Cinera's Sprites. Let's just show what we've got currently. We have this art variant sync here is what we're talking about. So there's no art actually set for this. But one of the things that we do definitely have that's ready to go is the Patreon sprite. Yes, we've got this. This is in the configuration for the Sprite Patreon. Now if I just examine the database, yeah, that is that. Sprite Patreon comes through, but it doesn't know about the variants. So we need to store the variants. We don't need to mark it as associated, because associated just means that it is its existence is dependent on projects, basically. So what I mean by that is it's really this is a project here. It's really, if you're talking about a thing that's set as the art of a project or an icon of a project. So yeah, how to go about this? I think really we need to store it first. And to be honest, I mean, I've called this stream using sprites. It might just end up being storing sprites. The using will be in the next one. Let's just see what we've got so far. The syncdb is in Cinera.c. So sync project, I think it's going to be this. Where's the main one? Like initdb. So there's initdb there. Yeah, it's not this one. Here's syncdb. Yeah, this is the guy I'm talking about. So yeah, delete stale assets. That happens down there. Init project and db postamble. So what have we got here? Yeah, it's going to be this probably. Yeah, this section is going to be removed. This is just to delete all the .metadata files which are from the old versions. Okay, yeah. So then here we go. Edgecount 0, child count. So yeah, I think here. Is where basically all I'm going to have to add to the DB header project, and I think I've already added it in the code, I haven't. DB header project. Yeah, I think what I want to do is add to this an index, basically. So it's going to be the index of the art and the icon. We've got 32 bytes remaining. Yeah, and it'd basically be indexing it to the assets block. That's the idea. So let's just try this here. Okay, now I'm going to, I suppose I should define these other things up here. So these are basically special asset indices. And we're going to have okay. So what this basically means is that if you've got a textual asset, it's going to not be indexing into the assets block. It's actually going to be saying look up into the configuration. The unset one just means it's not set. So yeah, it sort of seems like, you know, when you initialize a project, just wondering what's the best way to do this. So it's a theme. The unit is that. I mean, it doesn't really matter where these go, I don't think. But yeah, if you've got these guys in here, and I think I also need to have this in the entry also. There, I've got the art index already in there. Oh, hang on a minute, can't I do like an enum64? Do I have that? Yeah, I think I will do that actually. So you've got an enum64 special asset index for the art index. Same deal there. So yeah, projects can have it, entries can have it. Who else uses the... I mean, nobody actually indexes into the assets, to be honest. So I suppose we're determined by the asset block, aren't we? The DB asset, DB block assets. I mean, the count can only be 16, actually. So we'll have 16 bits of it. I suppose that sort of suggests that we should just make it an enum32, actually. Because if you can only have 16 bits of this, we need extra bits for the minus ones. And it's an enum. Oh yeah, it's an enum also, because you can only have 32 of them. So I think I will actually just change that to be like this, actually. Yeah, because there's no such thing as an enum64. All right. The yeah. I just changed that. All right, so let's go back to here. Now at this point, we could now say I mean, we just said it correctly, don't we? Like, there's no point, I don't think, in saying it's -1 by default, because actually, yeah, that won't be right, because we're actually initializing these people to the correct values. So yeah, we would want to be saying here, if so if you've got an art at all, yeah, and the art has to be graphical, so you can't have a textual art, basically. Yeah, now if the PR length it's going to be graphical. I mean, what you have to kind of do, actually, is get the asset index. Yeah, it will be that, won't it? So let's start with the place asset. That returns an asset. Get asset, here we go. So this is saying, okay, yeah. So that's it. This is it, isn't it? Get asset, except the problem being, it returns the asset. We don't actually know which index it is. Okay, so I reckon we always want to know. We always want to know what the asset is. We sometimes don't want to know what the index is. And since it's that way around, it kind of suggests that you'd want to be taking an asset, taking a pointer to an asset that we actually set. Is that right? So every single call would have to basically look like this. And then only some of the ones that want to actually use the index, set the index. Yeah, I don't think that's the better way of doing it. I think let's pass a pointer. Okay. So somebody's going to pass that in, and basically we're going to say that the index starts off as -1. Or I guess let's say special asset index on set. Actually, this isn't right, is it? Necessarily. Get asset from database is really what you want to be talking about. What's the difference here? Okay, I need to check that the database and the assets things are synced up. Yeah, I think they might be mismatched actually. I think they will be mismatched. We can't guarantee that they're going to be synced up. Okay, so we're adding assets into this assets array, or whatever it is, the assets array, right? So we're going to do that, but we're not actually necessarily going to be putting them into the database. It's only once we know that we need a landmark that we put it into the database. Okay, so I think we do need another way of doing this. So undo those guys. So this is actually going to be a locate asset. Well, we've got that. We do have that. So what does that return? That returns a DB asset. It returns a DB asset. Okay, so it looks like, doesn't it, that what we have to do if the strings match the DB element memory. And the stored asset type is equal to the asset type. Okay. So I think what I need to do is to first of all locate that get that asset. If we can't get it, then we need to push it. Okay, need to push it, and then we've got that asset, and then what we need to do is need to try and locate that asset in the database. And this guy will need to return an actual index. Set an actual index. Special asset index on set. Yeah, so if that ends up as special as on set, then we need to actually, well, get it in there somehow, don't we? Yeah, I think that's the way that you have to do it. It's called in one place, is that right? Okay, yes, what was the order? It was okay, so we first of all need to try and get an asset. If we can't get an out, then we need to say right variance. Aha. So here's where we can use the variance. Kind of nice that we can use this at last. Do we set it? We do set it. Oh, you know what? Actually, we're in the middle of writing a project here. So we can't actually write to the database at the moment. Sorry, we can't actually write to the assets block at the moment. Okay, maybe what you do is you augment the assets block. Ah, you can use the known, can't you? Right. Is it known? Okay. And then what you do is you just go over the ones that are all unknown. No, I think. What is known again? I think it's. It's one bit. Okay, so yeah, it's only. 1 or 0. we can use this because this is unused. So we could use this to say needs writing to database. Right, needs added to database. I think that would be a nice way of doing that, actually. So if we've got an R, the next thing we need to do is say a DB asset, which is locate and that takes, I think it takes the block, doesn't it? The block, the asset, and a thing for the index. Okay. So let's just let it locate it to itself. Let's just double check that that will be okay. DB asset. Yeah, it's using its own pointers. It's not using like the global DB pointer. This is being set the DB message file handle. Oh, bollocks. Ah, hang on. Init block. If we don't, right, if we can't find the block. I think actually we need to, I think we need to pass it, actually. Locate block. All right, and this person does not, it doesn't initialize the block if it can't. Yeah, let's do it that way. All right, so we want DB block. Now, I think this one would push, wouldn't it? Yeah, if it doesn't have a block. So if only if we've got an assets block do we do this. If we've got an assets block, then we can actually pass that to it. Pass the art. And we want the index also. Right. So yeah, if we've got our length, get the asset. If we've got an art asset, if we haven't, then we push it. Maybe we can assume actually at this point we just say we just preemptively say we need to add it to the DB. we get the assets block, then we try and locate it, set the index. Right. And then if at this point we've got an art in DB, we've set the index, so we say that the P, sorry, it's the project art index is equal to the index, and the art needs adding to DB is false. I think that's it. Give us a couple of minutes. Alright. So if we've got an art, we want to go into this whole situation and do all of this. and then we try and locate the block. If we've got it, initialize that to nothing. We locate the asset. If we've got an art in DB, then we set the prototype index to be equal to that index, and we say that we don't need to add it to the DB. Now, I think another thing here is that we want to set that that thing is actually associated with something, which essentially means that it doesn't get deleted if it ever ends up with 0 landmarks. Right, and I think if we're just poking that value in, that should just propagate down, I think. I do think that would just propagate in. Okay, so that's for the projects. Then we've got, if the p icon length and the p icon type, oh hang on, so yeah. If the p icon and length at all right is well, actually should use this, shouldn't I? Special asset index. If the p icon type is equal to icon type graphical, if this, then it goes ahead and does all of this stuff from in here. So let's pull this out into a function. Yeah, what is this actually doing? So it's basically set our index yeah, I don't know, like initial, I mean it's not really init asset in DB either, because you're not necessarily doing that. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually. Well, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the index. So this thing about needs adding to DB. If you need to add it to the DB, then it's when you add it to the DB you can actually set the thing. Oh, I probably also need to say what projects I'm talking about, don't I? Right, so when you're going over this, you go over initializing the projects in the database. Ah, I know. Maybe what you do also is in this asset, you link it to associations. You associate it with projects. That's probably what you'll have to do also. Right, then as you're going over this, looking at who needs added to the DB, you can then additionally say which projects needs updating. So we can locate projects, can't we? By project index, yeah. And the project itself stores that project index. Right, current project index. I think that's what we need to do. Yeah. So it's going to be pointers to projects. So I just need to rejig this a bit, don't I? I suppose another way might be to use project indices. 2449. And 1920. Let's try the other way around. Let's try and move config.c up. Unknown type, DB project index. Right, that's the only problem. It's simply the project. Yeah, that's there. Is it just the database that's right next? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's do it this way instead, just to save us having to mess about too much. Okay, and then just move all of the database stuff up above the assets, or the other way, not the other way, just move this below the database. Now will that screw anything up? I don't think that'll screw anything up, hopefully it won't. Assets, landmarks, search. Yeah, I don't think that would screw anything up. Alright. Okay, so the DB project index. We want to push on an association. Right, remember where we were. Is it going to let us go there? It's not going to get us there, is it? Here we go. Right. So push association. If it's gone out in the DB, then we need to push an association, I reckon. So pushing it onto the art, and the association that we're wanting to push on is the P's index. Okay, and then when we free the assets, we've got to actually free those associations. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's a push association that already exists, is there? Config string association H. Oh, right. It's a different kind of association. So they're talking about HTML association. Where is that? In config.c. Base width in bytes. Yeah, right. The number of them. That. And do we clear? We do. I suppose we can do that more than one actually. It's just the one thing we need to, so let's not. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so that'll tell it that that'll tell it that we need to, when we're going through the assets and we see it needs adding to database on somebody, we'll then be able to go into the association and we basically loop over those saying I mean, first of all, actually push the asset in onto the database, first of all, get the index of it, and then for all of the associations, we locate them in the database and set this as their index. This is their art index. Is that enough? Oh, hang on. We might also want to say the association type. So, is it, we're not going to have this value, are we? Yeah, that's correct. Now it's it's kind of art type. Well, it's either art or icon. Let's just stick with that. Okay. I think that's what we'd need. Right, so it's basically like what is this doing? Associate asset with index. I mean, it's basically that, isn't it? Associate asset with index. What is this actually? Probably having to return. Probably want to set the. Probably want it to return the index. Actually, it's probably what you want it to do. Is that right? Because you got the p project.art index there. Special asset index unset. Now, this whole thing here, this will return it'll return SAI on set, which sort of suggests you don't need to bother with the else case. Okay, I think that's right. So for every project, it's going to go over and do that. It's only the projects that we actually can do that for at the moment. We can't do that for the entries, but we might have to do it. Oh, hold on a second. This ain't going to be right. Project, yeah, we don't actually know, do we? Is that right? We don't know what the P's index is yet. Yeah, it's only there that we know it. So, what happens if we would do that earlier? We could just do that in advance, couldn't we? Yeah, I think that's fine to do earlier. I can't see any problem with that. The only thing, the key to be aware of is just to add it before incrementing the current generation. Okay, so that will set the P index. Yep, that's right, I think. So where are we exactly? We're in init project in DB recursively. Yeah, and I think this is the only person who needs to bother doing all that code. Because this is called by both of those dudes. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, after we've done all of this, right. Hang on, delete stale assets, so got... This is deleted from the database, isn't it? Yeah. So it's still going to reside. Well, it's not there actually. Yeah, it's just seeing which databases have got, which assets have got no landmarks. So yeah, I think at this point, so syncDB is going to happen. Oh shit, we haven't hit the assets yet. Init built-in assets. Yeah, that's going to bollocks. Now, is there a reason why we can't do this before syncDB? This is going to start with the assets array. If it's got an assets block at all, it does this sort of stuff, and if it's got it, hang on. All it's doing is seeing what's in the database. So it's going to init the built-in assets first of all. So that's putting it onto the assets array. And then it's going to go for the assets in the database and pushing those onto the assets array. I think that's fine. So it does, yeah, it does all of those things. I think this needs to take another value. which is whether it's associated or not, I think. Let's see actually. Association count. I mean, the association count will say if it's associated at all. I wonder actually. This is the way that I did it before. I synced up the things first. And then after initializing the assets, do we actually push on the configured ones? And in the context of this, what that basically means is push on the art and the icons. By this point we know what the projects are. Maybe we should do it that way. Yes, I think we should do it this way. Because doing it this way, you don't need to bother to build up the list of associations. So it's going to push the asset. Oh, that's an interesting point, actually. The theme here. The theme is specified in the database by... Oh, right. Can I generate one? I don't generate one. No. Let's say, I think it exists. Let's just have a look. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyway, the theme is stored as a string, but I'm thinking of storing the art and the icon things as indices. Okay, you see, where is it? Here. The theme. But the theme is actually an asset. Right? This thing here, push the project theme assets, it's actually an asset. So you can actually change it so it's the actual project that's stored in the database just stores an index for that also, wherever the hell that is. Like here, basically, it'll be here somewhere, won't it? Theme. Then rather than, yeah, like I say, rather than storing that as a string, you just store the index into the assets block. That index will have to say, that asset will have to say that it's associated, which means the whole point of the association thing is just to make sure that it doesn't get deleted and throw off people's indices. It would basically also say, if it's associated, it needs to go through all of the projects and see if any projects are associated with it before it can get deleted, basically. Let's just leave that as a to-do. And I know that we did just do all of this code here. Let me just if zero this out. And go down to init config. Right, then in here, push theme assets is kind of, it pushes the global one. And then it pushes the theme asset, the project theme assets. Now this could be push project assets. Right, it does it for the theme. And then it does for the art. So yeah, so if it's got art. So that's going to push it onto the thingamajig. Onto the assets array. Then we need to say associate this asset with the guy in the database. Oh, hang on, we've got the asset actually. We don't need to do the push association because we just let's just rethink about this actually. Right. We've just pushed it onto the assets array in memory. Then our task is to locate that. Let's just write it again. Locate that asset in the database. Does that return something? Yeah. Hold on a second. Does that return something? Yeah. First thing is to see if it's in the array. If it's not, push it on. Then we want to see if we can locate that product and that asset in the database. If we've got that in the database, Well, if we haven't got an asset in the database, then we need to add it to the database. Right, that's basically what it is, isn't it? This guy's only saying it needs adding. So how do we do that? It's this, isn't it? So yeah, hang on a minute. This is going to then insert into the database. And then we need to, having done that and determined where it's gone, we need to then set the art index of the project. Don't we? This is a void, so it could return the index, couldn't it? Yeah, it could. I think it is just this, isn't it? It's simply we push the asset onto our assets array, take that asset, pass it to this function, and this function should just return us the index of the actual thing, whether it's added it or not. And then we can just go ahead and use that index to set our project's index, can't we? Special asset index onset. If we've got that, otherwise, I think it's going to be the assets block count, isn't it? Really, the results. Because we're just adding, we're going to be pushing an asset onto the end of this block. And then we just finally return the result. So that will give us that. Now the thing is here, we don't know if it's associated. We haven't said if it's associated. So I reckon we just say associate it. The asset hash type Yeah, I don't think we'll need that. Oh yeah, another thing we could do actually is in the project. Let's do that. So this is pointing into the actual assets array, but I'm not sure that I will do that just for the moment. Stored asset. This does need to know if it's associated. What's happened there? Associated. This is saying update asset. Who's calling that exactly? Okay. So this is going to be, it's done by the CSS topics, which isn't associated, we know that. And it's done by the WT assets. Actually, I might just add to the asset just whether it's associated. Variance. So, yeah, let's just use that one actually. This is how it was originally actually. Good have a look back at it. Yeah, let's stick with that. We don't need to do this, and we just need to say oh, yeah, just update asset, wasn't it? Although, now that I think about it, as soon as you've got the asset and set it to be true, the deal was that you just do update asset, wasn't it? This is voiding. This is returning the int, yeah. Special asset index on set. If it's not deferred, oh, hang on a minute. So we just need to say don't defer it, I think. Yeah, so we do need to get the project database, but then don't defer it, and it's just the article. Alright. I'm saying the defer. Don't defer it, so we update it. We set that, return the asset index in DB. So the project in DB index, art index, isn't it? Is equal to that. Does that build? Right, I think that's hopefully okay. Just give us 2 minutes and I'll be right back. me just pop a bit of music on. It's now 4 o'clock. I might do another hour maybe. 2 hours so far? Yeah. Another hour, I'm saying. Let's see. Richard Poole. I could go for a bit of Radiohead, maybe. How long is Amnesiac? 43 minutes. Well, let's listen to it anyway. So I think this might have to be okay. We do need to do it for the icons also. But let's just see if the art gets in first of all. Aha, so the Sprite Patreon got a variance 9 now, which is nice to see. I'll just point that out. Yeah. What we don't have is any art for projects. Yeah, we don't have that. So push support icon assets, I think that needs to be modified, I think, probably. Push asset. Although, now I think about it, all we're doing here is associating projects and assets, really. And supports aren't associated with projects, so I don't think they need to be associated at all, which is perfectly fair. It's nice to see the variants coming through though. So now if we go down to risky and just say that it's art, is this. I can't think of why this wouldn't add it. I think they should add it. It clearly hasn't appended it. Alright, so let's see what happened there. We know that we've got the art is something. Now it's possible, I mean this file doesn't exist for a start, so it's possible that that's throwing it off. But I don't think that's it. I don't think. So the art variance for project risk. So pushing the project assets. This is what I'm talking about here, it's the project thingy. So let's just step in, let's have a look. I think we should only hit this for risk actually, for the risk. Risky risk, yeah. And just to fully nail home the point, risk is the person we're talking about. So it's saying to get the asset, what does it do? Oh, hang on. Yeah, get asset. If you can't, it should push it. Which you won't be able to do. Won't be able to find this. Right, so the result is still nothing into it. We don't have it, so we need to push it. Now this is saying the assets count. This is check. This is saying if the strings differ, if the strings don't differ, the file name, the one that we're trying to push, and the one that's in the array. So if they match, basically, and the type is equal to the type, then we're placing it, and essentially it's going to fix I to be where we're up to, basically. So we're going to come through here, and then we're going to end up with I being at the asset count, basically. Oops, bollocks. What would that have done? So it would have said the type variance. It won't have said that it's associated. So that's probably what's gone on here, actually. It probably has added it. No landmarks were added. So when somebody came to do delete stale assets, it just deleted it because it didn't know that it's supposed to keep it around. I think that's probably what's gone on there. So I think let's also just add in here yeah, that's fine. So even if we've got an asset in there that isn't associated yet, this should associate it with the product if we want it to be associated with the product. Yep, this is the guy here. So this one wants to associate. And this one, I mean, yeah, but it doesn't really matter because it's why is that not wrapping? But whatever. This guy doesn't need to store it. Any assets. The assets block counts. The asset file name. talking about DB assets. So it's pushing the DB assets onto the... Oh right, so this actually knows, doesn't it? Yeah, I think this knows that it is, whether or not it's associated. It's kind of interesting that that's backwards to the way that we're doing this one here. The way that we're doing this is we're pushing it onto the assets array, and then we're going to update it into the database. But the way that the other guy was working was that it would locate, first of all locates, or it goes through all of the assets that are in the database and pushes those guys onto the assets array. It's kind of funny. So yeah, they're all not going to be associated anyway, which is perfectly fine. The global theme asset. Now again, this could be an index. So let's just do the same deal as with the other guy. Just do that same node. Never sure how this is going to actually look. Alright, is that enough? This one's place asset. This is associated with templating, isn't it? Path asset string, yeah, which is in the template. So what this means is we're not storing the templates anyway, which basically answers that question. If we were storing the template, what is storing it in the database? If we were storing the templates in the database, then we could use this thing here to actually make sure that we're indexing, so that the metadata for the template actually indexes into the assets block. That's what this would do, and then the association would make sure that there's no templates. Also, it'd factor in when it's determining whether to delete, it would factor in the templates also. So I think it's fine. I'm going to say true for this also. Just see what, is that the right one? Or was it the end? It was the end. Alright, I think I will do a to-do here also. Oh, should I do it as a note? So, yeah, association, what this actually means is if there's no landmarks, again, it prevents it from being deleted if there's no landmarks. and if there is somebody that's associated with it. That's basically what associating does. This really doesn't want to wrap, does it? Yeah, let's just say that. Okay, so we were getting halfway through, weren't we? And then we realised that we probably are placing... We realised that the placing doesn't store whether it's associated. That was the thing, wasn't it? We got through to that bit. So I think what I'm going to do is... I'm going to do what we just did and follow it through. Now, it's still not going to actually keep it in the database because we don't actually handle the associatedness. But if we go to init assets, yeah, it's this. Push theme assets, push credit assets. Right, it's here. I think I'm going to step into the update asset call as well. That's what I want to be actually stepping into. Is that right? Yeah, update asset in DB is actually where I want to go. So currently the asset is got -1. Oh shit. If there's no... Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because the file doesn't exist. So if the file doesn't exist, I think because it's associated, I think, yeah, because it's associated, we just want to add it, I reckon. Yeah, let's just make it do that. So basically, if we've got a file buffer, then we do all of this. Otherwise, if it's associated, this. Shouldn't this only be freeing the file if we've got a file buffer? Oh, I suppose it's file path it would also free. Yeah. Okay, so let's just do that. So 5108. So you can't set the hash, but we're going to actually do some stuff. I think that's what we would want to do. So let's just watch that happen. Where are we? Update asset. We where will we be up to actually? Well, I'll just nuke anyway. We didn't generate that data. Yeah, this is going to be the child of thingy. Oh, I suppose actually this is where I want to be going. Risky art PNG doesn't exist. Yeah. And just to remind us, that's this value there. Doesn't exist yet. Oh. Oh, that's the point, yeah, it will be in 0, won't it? Because it's the first asset to go into the database, interestingly. Yeah. Yep. Appended risky art.png. Heap use after free. Push credit assets. 5442. Doesn't place asset, push assets. Sorry, what is this doing actually? Update asset. Yeah. So update asset, and then we actually need to update the asset, update signposts, or whatever it was. This, isn't it? It is that, isn't it? Hold on a minute. Cycle signposted file. I mean, that should have cycled the signposted file, shouldn't it? Yeah. So that aside, as long as I was a file. This guy ends up stale. What do we have in the side-posted file exactly? End project. We do have projects. Okay, so let's just say. Right. Oops. Is there any point in doing that? I mean, there probably isn't actually. You probably just do this, frankly. Yeah, actually, now think about it. You don't need the separate index. Now, I don't think. Oh, it was void, wasn't it? So, db project. And then we have to yeah, I think we do need to do this. And then we don't need this yet, actually. So we can do that there. So you set the project's pointer, project header pointer to be there. You update the asset, which updates in turn the project header pointer. And then we can get the project in DB from that pointer. And finally, at the end of the day, set that guy's asset index from the index that's set. Alright. Like Bill, let's see if this works any better. I'm not 100% sure where I'm running to. Yeah, that's what I want to go to. So yeah, I think we didn't change anything within this, did we? So we set the update Yeah, so asset index in DB. 0, isn't it? Yeah. That looks fine to me. Perfect. So, I guess one thing we could do. Well, actually, lost it. Anyway, whatever. Now that we've added it, I guess we could print out the. We could examine the database. Well, basically, what's going to probably happen is delete stale assets. I reckon this is going to get fired at some point. Yeah, so this is the problem here. Delete stale assets now needs to actually say well, a few things actually. It's kind of like it's got to know what asset index it's up to, and it's got to know if it's associated. So let's handle that. 10.3018. 10.318. So here we go. We're going over all of the assets. If the asset landmark count is equal to 0, we're going to increment the asset deletion count. So we're basically pushing on the asset deletion locations. So we've got the asset deletion locations somewhere. Okay, yeah, we've got enough of them that are in the count. If the landmark count is 0 and it's not associated, I mean that straight of all, first of all, will prevent that from actually getting deleted. So let's just do that. So let's let it generate and then examine the database, and we should hopefully see our friend risky sprite. It's the 0th. There we have it. So it knows that it's there. It knows it should stay. It knows it's associated, obviously, because that's what the test was. Then we know that the variance is 63. All the variance, yeah. I mean, I could buy that. So basically, what we now need to do is to say we need to handle this bit now for the deletion count. Now in here we've got the asset indices. So it's going to write past the header. That's how it's as well. So it sort of seems what we can do here is snipe in. We can basically decrement all of the people that are associated. So basically, where it's index. Say that we're deleting index 1. That means that everybody who's greater than us has to have their index decremented by 1. So the index after deletion locations. This is writing out, yeah, so I think we need a loop. First of all, I mean, we could probably do it all in one go, couldn't we, actually? We could just say, for all of the deletion indices, for all of the deletion counts, if you're greater than us, decrement your association counts. Right. Now as you decrement, actually that might not be quite right, because we're going to be talking about the original indices. Yeah, we're always going to be talking about the original indices. Which we cannot modify, I don't think. So I think we need to do one at a time. Is that right? I mean, basically it's like, let me just think this through actually. So we wanted to, so we've got two options. It's either delete them all in, it's either offset them all in one go, or offset them one at a time after we've removed all of these people. So the first option is to offset one in bulk. So if you offset everyone in bulk, but in both cases you've got this array of asset indices. So let's just say that we've got like okay, for the sake of it, you've got this setup. So those are the people that you're going to go through. And the thing that we're, again, the thing we're offsetting projects are index. And I guess while we're here, we might as well do this, although nobody's actually using it at the moment. So yeah, I've got the projects and the entries. Those are the only things that are going to be indexing into the thing. So we want to loop over all of the projects, all of the entries. I mean, that's basically the idea. So what we'd be saying would be, you take an association. So for every association, you're basically saying Okay, so this is just a shorthand for all of the projects and all the entries, basically. If the association index is greater than our asset, deletion locations, whatever, then we want to decrement it. Right. So basically what would happen is you go we're going to decrement that association index. Right. So if your index is greater than 0 in the first case, then we're going to decrement you. Okay. So that means that everybody who used to be at 4 is now at 3. Right. Yeah, this ain't gonna be correct, is it? It's not gonna be the right test, because each time you decrement somebody's index, you might actually end up throwing off the index in relation to what they were originally. Okay, so I think that's our answer. So offsetting one at a time. We can't write past the assets header yet. Set file position. Okay, so what we probably have to do is do this in the loop. Okay, so we're going over the deletion indices. And the very first thing we do is to offset everyone. Mind you, hang on a sec. Isn't this going to get out of sync quickly? I'm just going to draw it out. I'm just going to totally draw it out. So we've got a bunch of association. Okay, and this guy is saying unless I suppose we just say that the role, yeah, let's just use this. So these guys are all pointing in to those deletion locations, and then our deletion locations, meanwhile, are this. So what this essentially means is that 0 is going to get deleted, 3 is going to get deleted, 9 is getting deleted, 12 is getting deleted. Okay. So we can see, first of all, association 0 is associated with asset 0. This will then in turn say do it a bit differently. Let's just say that these are the let's just say that these are even and these are all odd. Okay. Just so none of them clash, basically. So for each asset deletion code, so we've got 4 asset deletion locations. This is the first round before we pop people off. So let's just give ourselves a list of these. Okay. So that in the first round, this is what they all look like. Which means that the second round begins. Are we greater than 1? Yes. Right. These fuckers are all greater than 1. So that has decremented everybody by 1. Now, this is what we've got for the next one. Oh, yeah, I suppose actually. So then we ask the question at this point, are you greater than 3? Yes. These guys were greater than 3, so we decrement all of these guys. Then we ask the question, are you greater than 9? Yep, these guys are. And then finally we ask the question, are you greater than 11? None of them are, so we end up with that. Now is this correct? So you start off with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and you end up with 0, 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11. Is that right? Oh, I suppose another part of the puzzle is what are the actual assets. So we start off with 14 assets. Yeah, that is what we need to do, isn't it, actually? We do need to somehow get that into the picture. So let's just write it out. Assets. Just make it equal to a.png. Okay. Let's write it out. Let's do it all again, just to make sure that we're doing it right. Right, so this is what the assets. This is what's the asset. I think I might also rearrange these. And this is one of those things that's really difficult to do actually. Screw it, let's just stick with it. So the first round, no, I don't like it. Oops. Okay. Alright, so the first round, so we've got to go through 4 rounds. So let's just copy this down. Let's do the second round. Round 1. Alright, so the first thing we want to do after round 1, we want to delete the first one, right? So that this goes away, right? Which means that all these guys end up going down 1, and the associations also need to go down 1. So if you're greater than 1, we decrement. I suppose at this point we already know that we can already tell, can't we? And it's, yeah, that does look to be right. Right. Let's, yeah, leave it there. So round, so let's number it. Round 0, round 1, round 2. So this time we want to be looking if you're greater than 3. Right, so are you greater than 3? Ah, we've already got a problem, haven't we? Oh shit, I did it wrong. Yeah, I beg your pardon, I did that wrong. It's not that, it's this. That's what you want. Right, if you're greater than 1. I mean, we need enough assets, don't we? Okay. So after the first round, let's just do it again. You're saying you're deleting the first, deleting the person at 1. Right, so that guy's gone. This guy becomes 1. And you're saying that everybody, all the associations whose indexing into the greater than 1 decrements, they decrement. Right, I think that's correct. So now we go to round 2. We're looking at 3. So if you're 3, you're getting deleted. Everyone below you gets decremented. And if you are 3, decremented. If you're on 9, you're getting deleted. And then finally, if you are 11, everybody else will get decremented. This guy gets decremented, and there's nobody else left to go. So who are we pointing at? I think we messed up, aren't we? That's pointing to 0. Remember, the associations have to remain. One was pointing to C. Let's just pick someone in the middle. So 4 was originally pointing at I. 4's still pointing at I. 4's still pointing at I. 4's still pointing at, now pointing at G. Hang on, let me just do that again. 4 was pointing at I. 4 is now pointing at I. 4 is now pointing at I. 4 is now pointing at I. 4 is pointing at I. I mean, maybe that's correct, actually. 7, I'm a bit suspicious about number 7. 7 was pointing at 11. Was pointing at 14. So it's 0, 0, 0, 0, and then N. Did I mess up the final round or something? No, I don't think I did mess it up, did I? Because you're deleting 4. This round you're deleting 9. If it's greater than 11. Ah, yeah, I did mess up, didn't I? Hold on, wait, what? Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I've missed somebody out here. Let me just do this again. This round 3. Oh, hold on. That's location is 11. Ah, I think I've discovered that this isn't correct. Haven't I? Why doesn't this fail earlier though? (13, 12, 11). So this guy's pointing at 14, which is this. We're saying that we should be deleting. Oh, hold on, yeah, it's completely screwed up. Because what we're supposed to be deleting is B, D, J, and L. But we completely don't do anything like that, do we? B, wasn't it D? Yeah, B, D, G, and L. D's still there. So yeah, this isn't right. I mean, do you just decrement the asset deletion locations as you go? That is probably what you do, isn't it? Yeah, I think that is what you do. So let's try that. This thing down here. What would this be? Yeah, I do think this is completely wrong anyway. So let's just try a different way. Just do it again. Take 2. So in round 0, you've got that. And the rule now, we're deleting 1. Everybody greater than 1 gets decremented. This guy goes, and all of these fuckers get decremented. Right. Then we say we're decrementing everyone we're deleting 2. Oh, sorry. I forgot to decrement these guys. So now we're deleting 2. So get rid of that. Everybody greater than 2. Oh, no. Now is that anywhere near correct? We've got after the 0th round, definitely doesn't have the first round. Shouldn't there be 4 rounds? What have I done wrong there? Oh God. Right. I know what I'm doing now, I think. Deleting round one. Deleting one. Oakley dokley. So, what are we left with? We're left with 0 CD. This ain't right, is it? Are we supposed to delete D? What an arsehole. Forgot to do the... Forgot to decorate the round one person. Jesus Christ almighty. Right, here we go. Round one. We're deleting one. Everyone is greater than one. Alright, so I think that's now right. We've still got all our associations. So have we deleted the right people, first of all? We're supposed to delete A, D, J, and L. Sorry, start again. We're supposed to delete B, D, J, and L. B, D, G, D, B, D, J, L. Yeah, and they've all gone, so that's nice to see. Now, are the associations now correct? That's originally looking at A. It might be nice actually to well, just take the start and the end. So this is what we started out as. We ended up with this. Well, let's just look at it. So we've got 0 pointing to A. We had 1 pointing to... Sorry, we started off with 0 pointing to A, 1 pointing to C, and 1 now points to C. 2 pointing at E. 2 now points to E. I think this is looking right. 4 pointing at sorry. 2 is 4 pointing at E. 3 is 6 pointing at G. 3 is now 4 pointing at G. 4 was 8 I. 4 6 I. 5 10. Yeah, I think this is right. Can continue. 4 5 10 K. 5 7 K. 6 12 M. 6 8 M. 7 14 O. 7 10 O. Yeah. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So every time through the loop, you need to decrement. Obviously, you need to delete the asset. Oh shit, it's the asset deletion locations. It's not an index actually. So I'm gonna have to store that. Probably. Yeah. So it's the asset, take away that. For each one. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so this asset index is one of the things we do want to store as well. So this asset deletion locations needs to be 2 values. It's got to be the index and the location. And since we're talking about something that's in the database, it's going to have a positive index. So I hope they do get freed at some point, by the way. Oh no, they're on the stack, aren't they? So yeah, this basically is going to have to go through, looping through all the deletion indices. Was it location? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to have to go through. So it's going to keep the locations the same, isn't it? Oh no, it can't actually do that. What this is going to do actually is going to... that's going to throw us off actually. So if you think about it, all this is doing here is decrementing the size of a DB asset. Oh, times the asset deletion count. What is that? Right, okay, so it's going to do... Effectively what this does is, right past the assets header, gets us past the assets header, which I assume has been actually fixed up to contain the correct value. Yeah, the assets block count actually gets decremented. So it's going to... This is currently writing past the assets header with the correct assets count. It's then going to move the pointer forwards to the first asset location, right up to that. And then I assume just skips past that header. The pointer take away the location. Take away the bytes into file plus the database asset. So the bytes into file. I mean, this is complete garbage, isn't it? point to take away the location, take away the bytes into file, which is this value, and then adds the size of a DB asset. Shouldn't it just be plus equal size of DB asset? You know what's going through my mind? I'm just thinking I might just call it a day. We have for 3.5 hours, 3 hours 20. I think I'd like to go and get some food. Yeah, I think what I'd like to do actually today is go and get some food now, just a sandwich or something, and then just come back to it and just do some more. I think is what I'll do, and then see if we can actually get this thing correctly, sort of fixing up the indices between the various things. So that's what I'll do for now. At least that's the plan. And still, we're not using sprites. We've just still been storing them, just trying to store them. So we'll be continuing storing. But anyway, thank you very much, James and Harris, for being carefree and beautiful, and for being storied. Thank you for being well storied. Until next time, farewell for now.